What's up, world? It's the Javelin Breakdown, bringing you episode 5 of the Javelin Breakdown Show. We're going to be recapping Texas relays and a few other meets, including some Division II and some Division III numbers. As always, this episode is brought to you by SPEARWERX. If you're not familiar, SPEARWERX is an awesome company that produces the Raptor Javelin, the Ghost Arrow Jav, and a lot of other great products. And I've been hyping it up. The Viper customizable carbon javelin is going to be coming out in the next few months, and it is going to be awesome. So stay tuned for that. Check out SPEARWERX on Instagram and their website. A lot of great stuff. Thanks to them for sponsoring the show. Let's get into it.
Yeah! Let's go! Go! Let's go! Yeah!
All right, so we're going to jump straight into it. You already know what I'm going to talk about. Keyshawn Strachan throws 84 meters, 76 centimeters to win Texas relays to, I have to read it, there's so many things. World leading throw, NCAA leading throw, the Bahamian national record, Auburn's record, Auburn's freshman record. It's the number 4 throw all time in NCAA history, and it's his season opener. He's a freshman. Like, mind blown. So a little context here. So I heard about Keyshawn when he threw 79 meters as a high school senior. No big deal, right? That's crazy. And then I heard he's going to Auburn, and this was sometime last year. And then totally forgot about him when doing my research and preparing for episode 1 of the Javelin Breakdown Show, where I covered the collegiate season and kind of, previewing throwers from last season and whatnot. And so I'm like, big mistake there. So apology number 1 for not having him in that episode. So after I released that first episode, Keyshawn's coach reached out to me on Instagram, Coach Corrington Maycock, and he was like, hey, you're forgetting about Keyshawn and you're forgetting about Rama, who's at Nebraska now. And I was like, oh boy, I've made a big mistake. So we had a nice little dialogue, and we, since then. And so, he told me Keyshawn's going to throw 84 plus, and he said that like 2 months ago. And then Saturday morning, I wake up to a text. I'm reading here. Good morning. I told you 84 meters. And so it's just like, you got to chuckle at that. Like, he called it. And of course he would call it. He knows it. He's been working with Keyshawn since 2017. He'll be working with Keyshawn after NCAAs in preparation for international competitions. And so, again, shame on me last week for predicting he was going to throw, I think I said something like 70 mid, 75, 76 or so. So 84, 76, an incredible throw. A big congratulations to Keyshawn and Auburn for just a really strong start. Well done. So exciting for the javelin community to see this level of throwing this early in the season. The men's field is really heating up. Before we cover the rest of the excellent throwing that went down this weekend, I want to draw attention to something that happened in his 84-meter throw. And you can only really tell if you turn the sound on. So I'm going to shut up and just let you listen.
Stay!
Yes, you're hearing that right. That is the sound of the javelin tail hitting the ground before he throws it 84 meters. So, needless to say, I'm sure that affected the flight of the javelin at least a little bit. So, what could that throw have been if that javelin position hadn't been altered? I don't know, but I think we're going to find out later this year. So just wanted to throw that out there because I missed that initially because the clip where you hear that I had watched and I don't believe I had the sound on because I just didn't notice it. And then someone messaged me and was like, did you hear this? Did you see this? And I was like, what are you talking about? And I turned the sound on and heard for myself. So yeah, that's also wild. So the rest of the field at Texas relays, some really strong throwing. So let's go down the list. So in second, Namdi Prosper of Baylor, 79.98, taking second place. A really strong throw. His personal best is like 81 and change, and so 79.98 as a season opener is brilliant. In fourth, after Curtis Thompson, we'll talk about him later, Cesario Pedego of LSU, 77.61. That's a very strong throw. His personal best is 78 and change, I believe. So that, excellent. Same thing for Cameron Bates, taking fifth place with 76.07. His personal best is 77.18. And so to be, a meter or so off of that, second meet of the season, excellent form. Touching on the other big name throwers in this field, taking sixth place, Ethan Dabbs throws 74.87 in his season opener. Mark Minicello threw the other week, but it was, the weather was terrible. So this 73.89 is a little more like a season opener, taking 8th place. Arthur Peterson, 73.13 to take 9th place. So I'm sure those guys wish they would have thrown further. But at the end of the day, not every meet goes your way. And so, I'm sure there's things they liked about their throw, things they didn't like, and they'll be back to the drawing board working on those things. Those guys are hard workers, great throwers. And so, at the end of the season, I really hope that this men's field and women's field, everybody's just in peak form because there's just so many really good throwers. We can have some all-time level competition in terms of quality of throwing from not just the winner standpoint, but the depth. If it takes 78 meters to All-American, 77 meters, like how insane would that be? Or on the women's side, if it took 55 meters, 54 meters to All-American, because whoever's going to win is going to throw far, but the depth this season on both sides is tremendous. My predictions were totally inaccurate, and that's okay because it's fun. So I guess you could say I was kind of right in saying Tazuriel and Cameron were going to be closely following the top 3, but other than that, I was way off base, and that's why I'm doing it for fun. All right, the B section, Texas relays, just want to touch on Dash Sermon, Nebraska freshman, 73.19 to win that B section. So I don't know what everybody's feeding their freshmen, but whatever Dash and whatever Mike Stein, that's what I need. These guys are going off. 73.19 as a freshman. Incredible. Mike Stein, PRs again. 3 throws over his 65.01 PR from Miami. So his PR is now 68.01. Mike's on a mission. So again, really excited to follow along this season because he's just getting after it every single day. And that's why he was my dark horse pick. And you can see that in episode 1 of the Javelin Breakdown Show. You can see that. Not Texas relay result. I'm going to give Jackson Morris a shout out saying hello to the top 10, getting himself to number 6 on the Division I list with a very strong throw of 74.27. So congrats to him. Now we're going to talk about the Division I women. Before we talk about Texas relays, I want to touch on the Florida relays because the women at Texas A&M went off. And so Leanna Davidson, big lifetime PR, 57.09, number 2 in Division I. And then teammate Caitlin Fairchild going 55.39, and she's in 8th on the Division I list now. So those 2 women I knew were going to be in the conversation towards the top of the Division I women's field, but didn't necessarily think this early in the season they were going to be so high up with monster throws. So big shout out to them for opening so strongly. 57 and 55, those are huge throws, especially this early. So congrats to them and the team in A&M. Now looking at Texas relays, surprise winner to me, probably not a surprise to her. She probably knew she was in good form, as the Missouri women seem to be these days. Valentina Bornicelli, 56 meters in round 6 for her best, but opened with 55.43, third throw 55.50. So really, from the gun, throwing really well to win Texas relays. Teammate Sofia Rivera follows up a very strong season opener with a 55.68 to take second place. So the Missouri women are just off to the races and running this season. And taking third, a big congratulations to Desiane for producing a lifetime best of 55.65. And so she hails from Brazil and is at the University of Las Vegas. She has international experience, taking third at what I believe was the U23 South American Championships. So, that definitely is going to come in handy later this season. The postseason meets, the pressure, the kind of schedule and time flow of those kind of meets, that experience can really pay off. So look out for her. 55.65, that's a super legit throw. Just looking at the rest of the numbers from the field, from Dayton, Casey produced 53.80, like that's a strong throw. Frederica, UCLA, 53.52. Megan Albemonte, we've talked about her before. She's been over 55, 53.06, that's strong. Maddie Harris opens her season with 51.87. Ashton Lunt, 51.87. Skylar Ciccolini, 50.82. And then just outside of finals, Myrta and Rema with 50.70 and 49.29. And then Michaela Vander Westhuizen, 47.42. So those women, I'm sure, are a little disappointed with how Texas relays went for them. But again, it's early in the season. I'm not going to say too much on that front. I'm looking forward to seeing them, figure out what they want to focus on technically and bounce back. They're very accomplished throwers, and they're not going to be kept in those distance ranges for much longer. So excited to see them bounce back at their next competition. Jimmy, what are you doing? What are you wearing? What do you mean? I'm practicing my approach. All this gear, it's what the pros wear. Jimmy, you don't need all that. In fact, what you need to do is work on your technique. You should enter the SPEARWERX Breakdown giveaway. What's a breakdown? And who's SPEARWERX? SPEARWERX is an awesome company that makes javelins and a heck of a lot more, and they're sponsoring a breakdown giveaway each week. The breakdown is an analysis of your throw so you can learn what to do to improve your technique. That sounds awesome. How do I enter? That's a great question, Jimmy. For those of you at home, I'm sure you're wondering as well. All you need to do is follow SpearWorks and the Javelin Breakdown on Instagram, and then wait for us to post the giveaway post, which will happen each week. When you see the post announcing the giveaway for that week, comment and tag your fellow javelin throwers. Each comment is worth an entry. Unlimited entries. Good luck, and big thanks to SpearWorks for sponsoring this breakdown giveaway. Good luck this season. Now taking a look at the Division II women, we see Keely Johnson, Missouri Southern, 51-41, leading the way. Some strong throws in the mid-40 range from the other competitors towards the top of the field. I'm excited to follow along the Division II season, and especially rooting for some local schools. I'm a Pennsylvania guy, so Slippery Rock, Shippensburg, they've got some strong throwers I'd love to see push into that top group. You got Trinity Clark, who's an All-American from last year. She's at number 12 right now with her season opener, but I expect to see her chase higher up the leaderboard, so we'll be following along for sure. Flipping over to look at the Division II men's list, we have a monster throw in first place. It's 75 meters 56 from Fresno Pacific, Dijon. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to pronounce this right, but congratulations, 75-56. That is a huge throw. That would be way up even on the Division I list. And then following him, DeVoe of Angelo State, 74-37. That's a huge throw. Caleb Calvin, Pittsburgh State, 73. Like, these are really big throws. I always love to see massive throwing from any level. When I was in school at the Division III level, there were 2 or 3 guys that consistently were pushing almost 70 meters. And at my senior nationals, Seth Nunemacher threw 73-30 maybe. So, any level you can throw really far. And that's part of what I love about track and field, is that you find the right school for you. Doesn't matter if it's Division I, II, or III, and you can still be, I'm going to say world class, but you can still be really good, right? It doesn't matter if you're a Division III school or Division II school. You can put up Division I national level, U.S. national qualifying numbers, and there's even been Olympians that have come out of the Division III level. So again, just that's my little plug for, go where, if you want to compete, go to the right school for you. You don't have to go D1. You can, but you don't have to. So just a little plug. So wow, this Division II men's list has got some real studs. Speaking of the studs on this list, Leif Nelson is number 6 on the list, and his coach tagged me in his video, so I have that here to show you. So a big PR into a crazy wind from what looks like a half approach. So really excited to see what he could do this year, producing 67.84 in these conditions. And so Leif, let's see what you got the rest of this year, man. Congratulations. Looking at the Division III women's list, at the top of the list, Ava Nelson from Pacific Lutheran. She's got 46 meters 27 leading the way, so congrats to her for holding the lead from last week. I'm going to shout out Avery Decker from Nebraska Wesleyan, producing her season opener, 42.96. So I've got video of that. She's in number 3 in Division III, so congrats Avery on a really strong start, just under her PR. And so she's an All-American from last season, so I'm excited to see her chase bigger throws this year. Also going to shout out Brianna Leverance. She's number 6 on the D3 list with a PR throw of 40.81 in her season opener. She's part of the Javelin Breakdown squad, so those are throwers that have access to the Coach Now app. They can share their video from competitions and training and receive feedback daily. If you're interested, check it out. Javelin Breakdown Squad. Information's on my website. So yeah, Brianna's part of the squad. 40.81 in her season opener to PR. Unfortunately, her meet got canceled this weekend because of weather, so she's in Minnesota, and so sometimes those things happen. But hopefully next week, back at a meet, and we'll see some more throwing from her. So congrats, Brianna, on the season opener. And I'm very excited for your season. Taking a look at the Division III men's list, excited to be sharing that Noel House has the D3 lead with 64.12, a big PR for him this weekend. So Noel represents Muhlenberg. Been following him on Instagram for a little while now, so love seeing his training, his passion for the sport, and so really excited to see him hit a big PR and have this top spot. Got to shout out his coach too, Bob Luciano. So he was at Moravian for a number of years when I was in college. So the meet at Moravian, the atmosphere was awesome, and part of that was just his passion for the sport. Very knowledgeable coach. So Noel is in great hands. Very excited to see what he can do this season to challenge the dominant force that Rowan is. So Rowan unfortunately didn't get to really compete this weekend because they were at a meet where the schedule got really behind. So men's javelin didn't Really, the final flight didn't get to throw at all. And so next week, really excited to see what their guys can do because they have a number of absolute monsters. So Tim Van Loo, Division III record holder, was coaching there for a number of years, a few years ago. And then Ryan Gebhardt, who I competed against in my college time, has been coaching them for the last couple years, and he's doing an excellent job. And so I think the Rowan men, just saying, the Rowan men, if I understand this correctly, have the best 4x4 in Division III. I mean, it's really fast. It could compete with some Division II and I teams. They were in the Division I Penn Relays race, I think, last year. So you take that 4x4 and the fact that they could have 4 or 5 guys in men's javelin at nationals this year, the javelin throw could be what really wins Rowan the D3 team title. How cool would that be? So just putting that out there. So the Rowan men, excited to see what they can do. And finally, shouting out Jacob Board from Allegheny. He's at spot number 5 on the Division III list, 62.72 from his season opener 2 weeks ago. He had a huge throw in warm-ups at Rally Relays last week. So when he gets to his next meet, I'm really excited to see what he can do because a little birdie has told me that he's going to do something big. Really quickly touching on the professional ranks, not too much going on. Just want to shout out Curtis Thompson on his season opener to take 3rd at Texas Relays, 79.29. That's a great throw. Looking at his Instagram, he shared some of the meets he's going to be at this season. So he'll be at Mount Sac in 2 weeks. So that'll be really cool to see. And then after that, he'll be in Doha, where lots of great throwing has gone down over the years. And so, Curtis, like I talked about in my preview of the men's field, is definitely someone to be looking out for this season and already off to a strong start. And then on the flip side, Mackenzie Little, we've talked about her a number of times. She wins the national championship in Australia, throwing a season's best, 61.46, so a little bit further now. Number 4 on the world list currently. So again, things are going to start to heat up over the next few weeks. It's still kind of early on the professional field standpoint, with the world championships later this summer. Some people choose to throw at this point, other people not so much. And then, the other half of the world has more meets, like the Australian National Championships is right now. U.S. Nationals is going to be May, June, July. I think it's like the first week of July. Yeah. So yeah, everybody, different hemisphere, different continents, different timetable for the meets, and so we'll kind of see things shift over the next month or so and start to see more professional throwing. And then finally, we have our section, Throws from the People. Again, this is open to anyone, so tag me. I want to be featuring you guys. So starting off, Weston McLean, 66.99. I knew this was going to happen because a little insider told me he had some huge throws in practice recently. But yeah, Weston, 66.99, and some other big throws at the Bobcat Invitational, so a huge personal best. Congratulations, Weston. Ryan DeBarber, UNC Wilmington, 66.04, a huge personal best. So look to see him and Miles Higgins, his teammate, trade blows this season as they are both over 65 meters. Ryan now over 66. So the two of them are going after it, representing UNC Wilmington. Congratulations to Ryan for hitting the PR this week. We talked about him last week. Nick Vainovich, now over 63 meters, 63.09. So breaking 60 meters last week, now up to 63.09, just continuing to rise. So congratulations, Nick, on another personal best. Got a throw from a high schooler. We got Landon Parfait over 130 feet at the Cowboy Relays. What a great name for a meet. Congratulations, Landon. Nice throw. Next, we have Jacob Braunstein. So he's a teammate of Leif's at Minot State. Personal best this weekend as well, 52.40. And so, like I said, it sounds like there were some tough conditions for you guys. So 52.40 in that. I think we'll see some more later on this season. So congrats, Jacob. Like I said, this section, Throws from the People, is open to anyone. So tag me in your video, send me your video, tag your teammate, nominate your teammate. I want to share what's going on in the community. So hit me up with your throws. Love to feature everyone. That concludes today's episode. As always, a big thank you to Spearworks for sponsoring the show. Good luck with your training and competitions this week. And as always, remember to enjoy the journey.